Halo, Mas Bernard.
Selamat pagi, Bu.
How are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you for asking, Bu. Hopefully you are fine too.
Thank you. Okay. So you are now in Denpasar or?
Originally, I'm from Nusa Penida, my hometown, but I'm working here in Denpasar. So I'm here in Denpasar currently.
Okay. So because you apply to study abroad, this interview will be conducted in English, right? Okay. So first of all, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, honorable panelists. Thank you for inviting me to this interview session. Let me introduce myself. My name is Igede Dana Santika. I'm 30 years old, currently working as a physics teacher at One Earth School, which is a private school in Denpasar, Bali. I have a high interest in conceptual physics, STEM education, and environmental education. I'm applying for this scholarship to take a master's study in STEM education at Monash University, Australia. Thank you.
I'm interested in asking you about the PIMNAS.
All right.
You were one of the participants in PIMNAS. Please tell us about the PIMNAS. You were the leader at the time, and what topic in the PIMNAS you were presenting?
It was in 2015. I took a participation in PIMNAS, which is a student contest on scientific project in University of Halu Uleo, which is in Kendari. I was participating in the field of PKM GT, which is ideations project. My topic was about giving a new method of tourism in Indonesia, which is called batik, becoming a truly Indonesian ethnic, in which tourists coming in Indonesia and they will be given like a family, and they will be joining all the cultural heritage and cultural activities in each of Indonesian tribe. I took that topic because some problems. First is that the Indonesian cultural was having a problem because it's situated based on the tourists. So this sacredness of Indonesian culture is not there anymore because it's situated based on the tourism seasons coming in Indonesia. Let me take an example in Bali. There is a dance called barong, which is sacred in Bali, and now it becomes not really secret anymore because it's situated based on when the tourists coming. So that was the problem that making me doing a new type of project in that PIMNAS.
Okay, so you are the first author at the time, or you are in a team, or what?
I was the leader of the team, and I won the gold medal in the PKM GT over 20 participants that time.
Okay, let's move to the next question. So, as a teacher, I want you to describe a goal that you have achieved in the last 2 years that has made you proud.
All right.
Maybe it could be an innovation or another things.
Regarding to your questions, during this 2 years of my teaching experiences, I always provide creative teaching strategy for my students, in which mainly it's about applying STEM education, conceptual education, and human values-based education to my students, in which, for example, in my class, we learn about how to build the skill to science communication to the students. What I always do in my class is that I do cross grade presentation, in which, for example, in grade 8, they make experiments. The students will be presenting their experiment in grade 9 or grade 7. This will help students to, presenting something to people that don't understand what the topic is. So it will be a challenge for them to communicating science to other people, which is not really in science. Because science communication is really important in the future.
And the result?
The result is that my student is able to communicate science experiment not only to their friends in the class in the same grade, but also able to communicate all their experiments in other classes too, and make them understand.
Did you measure the results?
In terms of their ability to communicate, yes, it's part.
How?
It's part of my evaluations, mainly in their psychomotor or the ability to apply their communications using the checklist.
So you use checklist to measure the results, but the item, where the item came from?
The indicators that I use to measure their performance is that how they being confident to present their experiment in front of other students. That one of the indicator. Another indicator is that how far is their friends, which is their senior in grade 9, are attracted to their presentation. So that's another indicator that I use to measure their achievement.
Beside using the scale or the measurement to measure the outcome of the process, the measurement, is there any the measurement you use to another goal?
Measurement that I use is actually about in terms of human values based education is how they working together in a team to prepare the presentations and collaborate with the team, including how the students and the leaders lead their teams and take care of their classmates or their group mates, which is not really good presentation, let's say, which is not good at academic. How the students, manage their self and taking care of their classmates and their group mates is one of also assessment. Because my school is actually character-based schools, so I need to develop their character and humanity values while I'm teaching physics in my class.
Okay, move to the next question. Please tell us about the most stressful situation that you have faced in the last 2 years, and what did you do in that situation?
One of most stressful experience in my 2 years experience in teaching at one school is during the pandemic. In 2019 to 2021, where I have to apply distance learning, it was quite stressful for me because it's difficult for me to measure the seriousness and the character development of my students, because they tend to stand in front of their gadget and their laptops, but in order to measure their value development and character development, I need to interact with them. What I always do is just collaborated with the parents and also their friends, classmates, to gain information about how the students interacted in the groups and at home. And by using this information that I gather from the parents and also from their classmates, I can take some action. There is one moment I gather all the students and giving them kind of self-reflection time to tell how they feel about the distance learning that I did at the time and what things need to be improved. That's one example.
Okay. How about the goal that you failed to accomplish in the last 2 years? What did you feel at the time, and what did you do to overcome the feelings?
Yeah, one of the goal that was failed is that to make sure that the academic improvement of the student was really done by the student. It's quite difficult for me to measure because they can get some helps at home from their parents, or they can find out the answers on the internet. So it's quite difficult for me to confirm that the answer was authentically their answers. And what I did is just kind of rechecking their answers on the internet, and if I found the same answers, I just think that it was not their academic improvement.
Okay. Okay. So when the last time that you feel sad?
In my school, sometimes I feel sad when I fail to accommodate my students' interest. For example, in the learning, because I have quite a lot of students in the class. Of course, I can accommodate all the students' interest in my learning. That's something make me make me sad at moment. In terms of my personal life, I'm sad when I can't come back home to see my parents, especially in the holiday and Balinese holiday because of my business working here.
So when you feel sad, what did you do?
Depending on the problems, the second problems regarding to my family, I would always call them and doing video chat with them, and that helped me a bit.
So my latest question: what do you do in your free time?
Besides of teaching physics at our school, as I am now a father and also a husband, of course, I would spend some of my time with my family, taking some
Do
quality
you
time.
have any hobbies? Do you have any hobbies?
Yes, I do. My hobbies is in music. I love playing music instruments. I play guitars and keyboards
Oh,
too,
okay.
right? And I do it
Okay.
too.
All right. Okay. Thank you. That's all for me. And maybe will be continued by Bu Citra or Pak Didi.
Thank you, Bu
Silakan.
Tuti.
Terima kasih.
Good morning. What should I call you? Pak Gede, Pak Dana, or Pak Santika?
Anyone is okay, Bu. Pak Gede, Pak Dana is okay.
Okay. Pak Dana, I heard about your experience. You have been teaching like for 7 years. So, the first question that, appeared on my mind, why do you want to continue your study? You are only a teacher. I'm sorry to say like this because it is like private school and then you go to school. So what the benefit that after you finish your school, what the benefit for your institution and for your community? Please.
All right. Thank you for the question, Bu. The main reasons for me to pursue a master degree because me and most of physics teacher in my community experiencing difficulties in bringing a more practical physics educations to our students. So what we tend to do is that focusing on the conceptual understanding and experiment in the laboratorium, which not necessarily giving the skills needed by students to solve their daily problems in real life situations. So I intend to solve this problem by applying STEM educations, but on the way that I apply this STEM education since 2018 to now, I experienced some difficulties too, mostly related to the interdisciplinary part of STEM educations, especially in integrating technology and engineering because my basics, I don't have enough basics in engineering. So that's the reason for me to taking this master degree in STEM education. In terms of role, even though I'm working in a private school, I am participated in Denpasar Science Teacher Council, in which I can take part to promote STEM educations to both private and state schools in Denpasar. For my schools, this study will be beneficial because at my school we have a lot of programs related to STEM education. We have environmental programs at school. Our school is a plant-based diet school. We don't have canteen. We cook the foods at school for all the school members, teachers, students, and we manage the waste, plastic waste, organic waste into compost, anything. This is a complete environmental program at our school. And by taking this master degree, I will learn about how to combine STEM education and environmental education.
Okay, and then for the 7 years you are teaching STEM, right? For especially for physics. What do you think about the development of STEM education in our country?
According to my experience interacting with other science teacher in Denpasar and based on what I have read from research paper that have been conducted by many lecturers in Indonesia, there are some issues regarding to STEM education in Indonesia. The first one is that the research in STEM education is mainly dominated by university lecturers. There is very limited research from teachers itself. That's issue number one. Secondly, the problem regarding to the implementations of STEM education in the classroom. Many teachers are having problems in integrating STEM educations in their class because of these two aspects, the technology and engineering. And the third issue is the teacher professional development in STEM education in Indonesia is not really able to empower teachers because it tends to be one-shot program without sustainable supervision and focusing only on the theoretical knowledge of STEM educations without giving the picture, the view of how STEM education is applied in the classroom practically.
Okay, and do you think when you are teaching, you are quite effective teacher, or I'm sorry, boring teacher? Which one? And why?
I've been teaching at one school for 7 years and I have graduated almost 3 groups of students. And until now, I still communicating with them. For me, one of the best indicator to measure whether a teacher perform well in the class is from the students. And it will be even better if the student is not a student anymore. Will they still contact you or not? Will they still communicate with you or not? That will be a good measurement. And based on my experience, talking about the pedagogy, I applied a lot of strategies in bringing engaging lessons to my students, including games, contextualist lessons, STEM education, many things, just to accommodate the interest of learning of my students. So I would say that I'm kind of fun teachers for them.
Okay, so I have ever heard some quotes like this. If you are a physics teacher and you didn't have any interactive class, means you are boring teachers. What kind of activity that you create and you can say it is my innovation to make my class more attractive, interactive, and indulge all the members of the class?
Okay, I will take one example. When I was teaching about free falling motions, physics grade 11, I used a game to attract students about the concepts of free falling motions. The game was catching a money bill that I drop from my hand from a distance. The students will catch the bill, and if they get the bill, they will get the money. I started with small amount of money, like 1,000, 5,000, and finally I used 100,000. Almost all students failed to catch the money. And then I used this game to explain to them that the time needed for the money to drop from this distance and the time needed for their brain from the money to their brain and to process it is different. That's why it's impossible to take and to catch the money. And I always tell my students that I believe in physics. That's why I do that, because I will save my money. Physics will save my money.
But some of the pioneers said physics is intangible knowledge. You don't know what is the result. It is only formulas and formulas. What do you think about that?
I agree, totally agree with that part. And for me, that is an issue. That is a crucial problem that need to be addressed in physics education in Indonesia. That is why, since the first year of my career, I always apply conceptual physics, in which I focusing more on the concepts, limit the mathematical aspects of physics. For me, what I always teach to my students is not the content part of physics, but the soft skill that can be developed by physics learning, which is problem solving, critical thinking. That is important for all jobs that they will take in the future.
So, do you have any dream to be a headmaster or the top leaders in your school right now?
My future dream after I finish my master study, let's say, is to promote STEM educations to more teachers. So taking a leader at my school isn't really my dream, but my dream is becoming, let's say, becoming the leader in the MGMP or the teacher associations in Denpasar, so I can reach more teachers in terms of the policy. I also dreaming to be the guru pamong or in the PPG or teacher professional education, so I can reach more teachers in Indonesia, including working together with the government programs. We know that Ministry of Education has a lot of programs in education today.
Are you quite active joining all the programs that PPG or Gerakan Guru Merdeka or something like that the ministry provides all the programs for development, teachers development?
Yes, Ibu. I have just finished my teacher professional education in 2021, PPG dalam jabatan. So now I have already certified as a teacher in Indonesia. However, to take, let's say, guru penggerak, I need a break because the time was similar that time. The registrations of guru penggerak was at the same time with the PPG, so I choose PPG first, and later on, after I finish my study, I plan to join all these programs so I can reach more teachers to promote STEM education in Indonesia.
So do you think the program of the ministry is quite good for the teachers, or is there anything that should be developed more or should be revised? What do you think about the program that provided by the ministry?
I would commend this in terms of one of the program that I joined, which is the PPG dalam jabatan, because I have the experience joining this program. In terms of PPG PPG dalam jabatan, the teacher education professional development, I think what the Ministry of Education has been done is great. The curriculum is quite solid, giving new updates in educations. One of them is the STEM educations was embedded in my curriculum before. So I think besides PPG, there are Guru Penggerak and the PPM, many programs that is developed by Ministry of Education is really helpful in developing the knowledge and the connections between one teacher, two teachers in other parts of Indonesia.
Do you think it can be very good beneficial for the country when you go to school and you finish your study?
I think so, because I have clear issue on what I want to address, and also the specializations, which is STEM educations that I'm going to take, is really relevant, practical to address the issues. And the university that which is Monash University, is providing complex knowledge about it. What most importantly is that I have begun working on these contributions by becoming creative teachers, sharing all my teaching experiences on YouTube, and promoting STEM education to other teachers. So what I'm going to do in the future is mostly related to what I'm doing currently by enhancing and applying my knowledge from master study.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Didik, it's your turn right now.
Thank you, Bu Citra. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Pak Kecil. Okay. So if I'm not wrong, you are trying to apply for the Master of Education, right?
That's true, Pak.
Okay. In Monash University, okay, in Australia. Okay. One thing that I would like to know, what the study program you choose in Master of Education?
I choose Master of Education with the specialization in STEM education, Pak.
Okay, STEM education. You already mentioned a lot before, right? About STEM education. Did you research what kind of courses offered and how many credits should you take in Master of Education in Monash University?
Of course, I have did thorough studied about the program structure. The program structure consists of 10 units, which is 10 units, which is weight 96 credit points. 96 credit points divided into 3 parts. Part A about orientation to education. Part B about the inquiry in STEM education, and Part C is the professional development in STEM education. This is all will be learned in 2 years, in 4 semesters, including 3 elective units.
Do you plan what kind of elective unit you you will choose?
Yes, I have decided what elective units I'm going to take. The first one is social and emotional learning in STEM education. This is very important because in the classroom learning, we are not only teaching the content to the students, but also there is one factor that affected the student achievements, which is their emotional and social interactions among students and to teachers. So I think this is important. That's why I think this. Another elective unit is about leadership. Leadership, organization, and education, which is important because my current contribution in STEM education is I established a teachers organization called Curious Teachers Bali, which is focused on promoting STEM education among teachers in my community. So as the leader, I need this knowledge and skills to promote STEM education. So I think this. The last one is a unit called STEM education in early childhood. Yes, this is quite unique. I take this because I want to get comprehensive understanding about STEM education from early childhood to secondary education. And based on the study, the best age to instill the interest of STEM education is in the early childhood education. That is why I think it's important to have the comprehensive knowledge about STEM educations from the early childhood to secondary education.
Are you a teacher in the primary school or high school, vocational high school or general high school or what?
As my school is a foundation or yayasan, it has education in all levels from playgroup, kindergarten,
Okay.
primary, and
Okay.
secondary. And I'm teaching in primary and secondary education, SD, SMP,
Okay.
SMA.
Primary and secondary high
Yes.
Okay, and then talking about the courses that you already mentioned before, I just want to know, are you familiar with any famous experts in that field?
Yes, I have studied a lot about the researchers and experts at Monash University, especially in STEM education. And one researcher that attracts me a lot is Professor Gilman Kidman, Professor Gil Kidman, because her research is focused on STEM, ethno-STEM, which is a field that combines STEM education with cultural knowledge, which is really important for Indonesia as a multi-culturalism country. So I think by learning about ethno-STEM with this professor later on when I study there, I can learn a lot about ethno-STEM because in my perspective, ethno-STEM is a solution for two problems in Indonesia. The first one is to close the gap between school education and indigenous education. This is really important. Most students having this gap because they have time spending time a lot at school, so they don't have enough time to learn about their indigenous culture. So ethno-STEM is a learning about combining STEM education and the cultural knowledge. So this will be a solutions to close this gap. The second benefit of ethno-STEM is that ethno-STEM will be a solutions for a limitation in of infrastructure in Indonesia. We know that in rural areas, rural part of Indonesia, they don't have enough facilities to teach STEM education. By applying ethno-STEM in rural regions of Indonesia, they can learn STEM educations from their indigenous knowledge. So it's provide contextual learning for rural schools in Indonesia.
And then talking about the research, did you ever doing a research about STEM previously?
Specifically about STEM education, I never applied it, but if you ask about combining some discipline of STEM into my physics class, yes. I have once conducted research during my teacher professional education. It's a classroom action research,
Okay.
in which I applied problem-based learning into my 11th grade students to solve a problem of conceptual physics, where I applied technology where they measure the Hooke's law using their gadgets. So students can be able to see physics conceptually without really having problem in mathematics.
And talking about the classroom action research you did before, it is only stop in the classroom action research, or are you continuing by writing as a manuscript or article and sent to or submitted to the journal or conference proceeding?
All right. At that time, I wrote a best practice about the action research that I conducted, and because my university was Widya Mandala, if you know, in Surabaya, that was the university where I learned about professional education. They take all the best practices from all the participants, and they said they will publish it as one article. So for me personally, I didn't publish it because the university gathered all the best practices from all the teachers, and they promises to publish it as journals.
Yeah, because it is very important what you did before about the classroom action research. So there are so many people out there, the teacher out there can read your experience when you write it and publish it in one of the journal or conference proceeding. Even for the master degree in our country, in Indonesia, there is the requirement for them in order to pass or in order to complete the master degree program, they need to publish one article, even for the Sinta 2 journal.
That's
What
true.
do you think about that?
That's true. In my opinions, that is a compulsory things that should be done by all teachers. You know, like sharing the experience and how solving the problems in the classroom is really important, right? We need references from other teachers in other places, how they solve the similar problems that we experience in the classroom. And I think that is that one thing that is lacked in Indonesia, the role of teachers to do research, because it's only dominated by lecturers. I think in the future government should taking care of this. Like, we actually as a teacher we do research, but in order to continue it, to publish it, it needs quite job and funding too. That's the problem there, actually.
Do you have any plan to publish any article here, maybe related with your research STEM in education, in any kind of book or journal might be?
If you ask about my experience, yes, I have ever published a book about making physics learning media from recycled materials, but it was when I was in university. But if you're asking about my plans in the future about this, yes, I have a plan, especially when I am accepted and continue my master degree at Monash University. Of course, this research culture will be part of myself. So I will do that, especially because BPI has that funding where I can, put my research and articles, publish it internationally.
Okay. May I know in your previous education level in bachelor degree, how many years you completed the bachelor degree?
Specifically, it was 3 years and 7 months. 3 years and 7 months. I graduated with a GPA of 3.59, which was cum laude. And yeah, I think what I'm doing outside of my academic study, the research, the PKM, PIMNAS, all the things helped me a lot in finishing my study.
Okay. And if Pak Gede selected as the scholarship awardee, how do you maintain to complete the master degree on time?
I have some reasons that me confident that I will complete my master's study on time. First of all is I have over 7 year experiences both in learning about STEM education and also applying STEM education in my classes, including organizing teachers organization in STEM educations and doing projects. All of this experience giving me preliminary knowledge about STEM educations, the issues, the challenges, the opportunities in Indonesia. Second of all, I have prepared myself, especially my English, as I know studying abroad will be culture shock in academic, right? Especially in English and also academic readings, essay writing. I have prepared myself because at the school I'm teaching physics and mathematics in English. So it encouraged me to learn English every day, to communicate, write English every day. Thirdly or lastly, I have proven that I have finished my bachelor study and teacher professional education on time. That make me confident that I will do this master study on time too, using and applying my soft skills.
Okay. And then the next, yeah, this is the last question, I think. Yeah, in your opinion, I want to know about your opinion. Which one is more important, graduating with cum laude or graduating on time, and why?
In my opinion, if I can choose both, that is my options. But if I have to choose one, in terms of this BPI scholarship, I would choose to graduate on time. But graduate on time, showing my seriousness in learning and studying. If I
You can
can
choose two. You can choose both.
If I can choose both, of course, I will choose. I will choose graduating on time with the best results. I mean, with a higher GPI, because GPI showing your performance during the study, and of course, studying abroad, the government will give me big funding. I don't want to disappointment the government. I want to take both, not only the theoretical knowledge from Australia and Monash University, but I want to take also the experiences in leadership and policy making and international connection, including the experts in STEM education. So for me, graduating on time with the best result is my priority. But also I want to take not only theoretical knowledge from this study, but the connections with experts, with other like-minded teachers, and the policy-making successful story of STEM education application in Australia is also my priority.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you, Pak Kadir. That's all from my side. I hand over to Mas Hadi.
Thank you so much.